Oh. Well, I am sure all of us Canadians who can't afford to buy dead cow this week or dead chicken this week are thrilled to find out it's just a technical recession. It's not a real recession. And of course, we're supposed to take the word of the man who ran the World Bank, who's supposed to be really good at money, right? And yet, somehow, over 90% of the citizens in his country, the man who's so good with money, are living paycheck to paycheck. So it's not a technical recession. It's not a recession in our ability to do technology. It is technically a recession. Now, this may seem like an odd combination, but it's really not, because it doesn't matter whether you go to the UK or wherever. I'll put a little bit of side note in there in a minute. But when you go to a country, what you'll usually hear from the people who are already there in Canada, if you're coming to Canada, know either English or French. Those are the two official languages. France should not have to change one of its official languages to Arabic just because they have been allowing a flood of Arabic immigrants. The official language of France should still be French, right? And in fact, technically it is. But since almost half of the people in France are now Arabic Muslim because of Islamic colonization, folks, yes. Now, here in Canada, we've had people signing a petition because for 50 years there has been English as a second language. I knew some people, the Schultzes, they came to Canada late 50s, early 60s, and their basic philosophy for the first 2 years was that they were not allowed to speak German in the house because they were now in Canada, no longer in Germany. Now they were now adults. They were only children when the Second World War happened. So if they're in Canada, they speak either French or English. They didn't go to Quebec, they came to Ontario, so they speak English. Their children learned English first, but they did go every Saturday to a school that taught them German. And their parents took them back to Germany once they were old enough to deal with the flight and all that sort of stuff, every year, so they understood the culture that they came from. And that was rather significant because there are people blaming Germany for being too lenient, and yes, to a certain degree they were. They're not when it comes to anti-Semitism, but by allowing the pushing of, you're not being liberal if you will not accept these Muslims, is a crock of shit when wherever they're going these days, and I hate the way this sounds, I really do, but Islamic colonization demands that wherever they go, they look to take over. This is why in Texas we have them claiming that they have to say that the Alamo was erected in honor of Islam. This is why the UK is dealing with people claiming that Big Ben belongs to Islam, that it was stolen from Gaza. Unfortunately, Arabic culture, having started as primarily a nomadic culture, really doesn't have its own culture. It is a colonizing entity. What it might have had 1,000 years ago is a whole different question. Now, all it has is what it takes. And if you pay attention to wherever Islamic colonization goes, one of the first things they do is destroy the existing history. This is why they built on top of the temple in Jerusalem, so they could claim that theirs was the most important. And they're doing excavation knowing that they're going down into Jewish history and destroying it, because that's the point. How can they claim that the Jews have no right to be? What they're going to do about the 3,000-year-old cemetery, I'm not sure. But what it all comes down to is, yes, folks, in our urge to be liberal, most of you not even understanding what that word means anymore, you are allowing yourself to be tolerant of shit that is not acceptable. Unless, of course, the person is a Jew.